Yeah, and boom, here we are right back where we started last night, or where we left off last night, I should say. Another great night flight, Polymac particle style last night. Thanks for everybody for coming on board for the ride last night and already lining up in the comment sections. What's up, y'all? Great to see everybody. Dean G, Christian Narag, East Coast checking in. You got it. Miguel Salas, Dom Peralta, all the usuals. Dean G, if I didn't say it, sometimes I like to say that one twice, Tony. 415, Leah Phillips in the house. And by the way, I got a few things to say, Tony, before we set the stage today. But like I'm telling you right now, the Lee Hammer hit last night was a smash hit. It was a success.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep, totally.
We thought we'd experiment with the handsome appearance of Lee Hammer, and it looks like the Polymac particle community ate it up. Creative Tony, how's your head today? And how do you feel about our guest hit with our former boss last night?
My head's good today, man. And yeah, we talked about part of the show name is Particles, and I feel like Hammer spread particles all over the place last night, and helped in the universe with the Dubs win last night over OKC.
I agree 100%. I actually wrote down. Let me see if you want to see my my notes. Let me see if I can bust out some notes. Here's my notes. Nobody can read these, but I actually wrote a note last night to myself, and I said, Hammer gets credit for that Dubs win. Hammer's going to get the credit. I know Wiggins had a big night, and everybody was balling out. Steph had 21, a couple of big threes in the fourth quarter. But I think it was Lee Hammer at the end of the day when the smoke clears. That is an example of particles at work. Lee Hammer came on, sprinkling the energy, sprinkling those good particles. Boom! Next thing you know, and I did dismiss the class, Tony, in time to go enjoy the rest of that fourth quarter. I thought the timing worked out well last night. Yeah.
Yeah, you totally did. You know, let's just give it to him right now.
What do you think the teacher's going to look like this year? I brought my pencil. Don't get me going on a Diamond Dave rant early, because I will. It's hard for me not to on any given show. But anyway, great to see everybody in the comments line. Tony, I did want to start with something, just a little slice of life right now, because I would be lying and I would be putting on some kind of front if I didn't tell you that, like, I am doing this with a heavy heart today. Like, I've been watching the news and the tragedy that happened last night with the plane and the Black Hawk colliding down in DC is really tragic. And there are, like, when something like this happens, there's always going to be a lot of tentacles, Tony. Like, there are 67 people that perished in this crash, and each one of those people has their own story and their own family tree. So this thing is going to have tentacles that reach a lot of people. So my heart goes out if you're affected in any way. And it did touch the sports community. There was a skating club, ice skating club out of Boston, which I believe Nancy Kerrigan, the former silver gold medal winner in the Olympics in '94, she was involved with that club, and they were on board. So there was some figure skating. Yeah, there were a couple of U.S. figure skating champions that I understand on that flight as well. So I just wanted to say my heart goes out. And, we'd be like, I don't want to be bluffing. Like, we're going to keep it real on this show. Like, I mean, I'm not going to pretend like everything's great. Yeah. It's a sad day. And I just wanted to pay my respects to you. That's all. Before we get into the hijinks, I just wanted to keep it real for like 10 seconds. That's all.
Yeah. And this goes back to, man, George Carlin with the enjoy every sandwich, because you just never know, and try to enjoy. I was listening to Trey Anastasio put out this album, Ghost of the Forest, with a bunch of different musicians. And he has a song called Brief Time. Check out the song Brief Time by Ghost of the Forest, which is a Trey Anastasio side project, where he talks about it's such a brief time we all get to be here and enjoy it and make the most of it and cherish it. And, I try to tell my kids, hey, today's a gift. It doesn't register because they're kids, and I want them to be kids, and I want them to enjoy their childhood, not think about that stuff, but also to just appreciate, And dude, while we're on that tip real quick, just a public service announcement here too, a little PSA for the community.
Go ahead, man. Yeah, go ahead.
That the norovirus is running crazy around schools and stuff right now.
Yeah.
So I just want to tell people, my kids both had it. It was a bad scene for 2 days, but wash your hands all the time, constantly wash, because they say it's all substance based. Right?
Yeah.
And just, if you pick something up that could be infected, just wash your hands thoroughly all the time. Because my nieces go to St. Ignatius, and nearly 300 kids were out sick yesterday. I mean,
what?
Yes. I mean, it's
3.
crazy.
Oh,
Yes.
oh no. I
Yeah,
don't think
so
it's
just
worked its way up the peninsula yet because I haven't seen like 300 kids out of
well,
my. I got a school right up the street, and based on what I see in the streets every day at 3:30 when all the parents come, it hasn't
mhm,
hit the North Bay yet. But dude, I'm sorry to hear that. And yeah, just be mindful, keep the scene clean, as they like to say. I got to
yes.
correct now, Tony. I got to come in with some early corrections on Polymax particles. Not something I normally like to do, but I feel like I got to set the record straight because you misquoted George Carlin. He wasn't the enjoy every sandwich guy. The enjoy every sandwich guy was Warren
Oh,
Zevon,
that's
musician.
right. It was
Yeah,
Warren
all good.
Zevon.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, it was Zevon. Yeah.
listen, any chance you get to mention George Carlin on the show, the door's always open, bro. I'm always welcome to celebrate Carlin. And by the way,
You're right.
George Carlin, ... I've seen him. I saw him live, Tony.
Nice.
I did. I saw him in the early
Nice.
90s. Yeah. I saw him at ready for this? I saw George Carlin do stand-up at a hotel. Rags knows where this place is. Rags, I saw him in Parsippany, dude, in some ballroom in like the Parsippany Hilton or something like that in the early 90s. But anyway, Carlin's always welcome, but it was Zevon talking about the sandwiches. Now, Tony, go ahead.
Yes.
You got something. I don't want to stop you. Go ahead.
No. I say thank you for that, dude, because I love that line, but I
Yeah.
always think because I love George Carlin stuff, man, and so I always just assumed it was Carlin, but you're right, Zevon. I just like I need help today, Paulie.
Oh, what do you need? I got you covered. I got you. Yeah.
I need your help, and it's also it's social media based because I keep getting blasts, and it's the algorithm. I guess they know how to just dangle the bait in front of me about the referees and about the. And I'm not trying to like I'm not trying to like fall on that as an excuse or anything. But when I see people, great football minds that are now coming out and talking about it and saying it's a thing.
I know.
Troy Aikman, we talked about it, did it on the broadcast. He has recently made more comments. You have the Pro Football Talk guys. You have I mean, that's just a couple. Adam Schefter, right? These people that are paid to speak and on the sport of football, and they're talking about it, and I'm struggling with it, man. So I just need help. That's all I need. I need help.
Well, I don't know if I can give you the kind of help you're looking for on this Thursday afternoon broadcast because I'm right there with you, dude. I'm equally frustrated. I'm beyond sick of it. I get sick to my stomach when I just see the Chiefs on TV. It's just a highlight is enough to turn my stomach at this point. I will say this though, Tony. I do think that somehow, and I'm not saying like I'm an influencer. I have no effect on the culture around us, but I will say this: that tweet that we sent out before the Texans game 2 weeks ago, I swear to God, that's like ground zero where this whole thing started to gain momentum, almost like a tropical storm. When you see like the hurricane, like it starts gaining strength and it's getting stronger and stronger. It's getting wider and wider. I kind of feel like we had our hands in this thing, at least getting this discussion started on an, I really do. I really believe that because again, if you guys missed this, we had our brush with like international fame a couple of weeks ago when I sent out a tweet kind of riffing on Andy Reid, cozying up to the refs before kickoff. I just sent out this kind of harmless little riff on that. I said, oh, there's Andy Reid coaching up his starters before the game. Next thing I know, that thing generates almost 3 million views in the span of 24 hours. I was shocked. But the reason I keep mentioning that is because, again, Tony, I do feel like we pushed that boulder. We got it rolling. And now it's like unstoppable. Now it's just rolling down the hill, man. And you're right. More and more voices coming out, just kind of throwing their hands up saying, why? Like, what's the point? Why are we doing this? Why are we helping the Chiefs along? Now, you're talking about all the things you've seen. I didn't see the latest Troy Aikman quotes. I would love to if you can share those. I haven't seen those. And
during Bookmarks. We'll do it during Bookmarks.
Okay, great. No, I would love that. I look forward to Bookmarks and Tony's top 3, by the way, don't you know? But I will say this, that I have seen the Josh Allen fourth down play where they ruled him short, of course. Any close call is always going to go to KC. But like I've seen that thing without exaggerating this week in the last 4 days. I've probably seen it on Twitter 150 times. Like there are new tweets, new angles, new people getting frustrated. So like I asked this question before the AFC Championship. I asked you, Tony, I said, because of the heightened kind of conversation that's going on and everyone's talking about the officiating in Kansas City now, and they're a little too intimate kind of relationship they have. I asked you if you thought the refs would tone that shit down in the AFC Championship. And in a way they did because the penalties mathematically were pretty close to being even. Buffalo had 6 flags on the day. KC had 5. Now, it's the flags. It's the calls they made or non-calls on a fourth down conversion. They took those away. Those aren't penalties, but it still hurt Buffalo enough that it might have cost them the game. So here we are. We got about a week and a few days until the Super Bowl is played down in New Orleans. Tony, I'm going to ask you the same question again. With all this heightened conversation, Troy Aikman checking in, Chris Rose, all these people talking, like, what are we watching out here? Do you think on the biggest stage known to man, I mean, there's no bigger stage than the Super Bowl. It's global, man. The entire world will be watching. Will the refs tone their horse ass down, or is it more first and goal to go for the Kansas City Chiefs? Tony, the floor is yours.
I don't know, man. I feel like the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, so it's like mission accomplished almost, But that would suggest that there is a script and it is rigged, which I cannot just for the purity of life and the purity of the sport, that I can't just feel that that's happening. But I saw a video earlier today where a guy compiled all of the different spots for the Bills, moving balls back like a yard or two.
Sure.
Like
move it back
5 or 6 different times in the game. And it's
back it up. No, back that one up. Yeah. For no reason. Just back it up. Yeah.
James Cook had a couple of first downs where even Jim Nantz is like, oh, a gain of 11. And then all of a sudden the ref's like, we're going to move it back 2 yards. And Jim Nantz is like, oh, actually, they've readjusted the spot. And now it is now, and it's like,
they've readjusted the spot, right?
And then
did an adjustment. Yeah.
And also, I do want to say we're going to go down a positive road about the Dubs as well here on the show today too. But I was telling Paulie has been like a dear friend / colleague / therapist for me for literally like 2 decades. So.
Well, it goes both ways, bro. Believe me, I've had my sessions when I've been on your couch. Trust me. I don't think I haven't. Go visit the early 2000s if you want to go repeat that era. I was on Tony's couch on a daily basis. Tony, let's have lunch at Hunan. I got about 8 million things I got to talk to you about. That was like our daily schedule. You remember those lunches? Yeah.
Can we just give real quick? You said Hunan. Can we just give love to Frank at Henry's Hunan right there on Natoma? Remember Frank at the window?
Do I remember Frank, bro? I practically have a statue of Frank in my living room. I'll tell you this right now. I don't know what's going on in the world or in politics or sports or the climate or anything like that, but I do know one thing. I know that right now, someone's sitting down at Hunan carving up one of those meat pies you turned me on to, and they're loving life. And then that other, Tony, you basically taught me my menu choices at Hunan, I go back to them to this day. They are as follows: meat pie, green beans with the spicy pork. You eat like a couple bites. I'm sweating just sweating at the table, which I enjoy. And then it was the is it orange chicken? I think it was
orange chicken is their big dish. The meat pie and orange chicken. Those are I think they're 2 most popular dishes, I would say.
Oh my God. If this conversation continues, I might have to point my rig towards the city for a late afternoon hit, because I do miss Hunan, bro. I got to tell you, I miss Hunan being within walking distance. But I took us off the track here. Let's go back. So you were talking about. Sorry. No, it's my bad. It's my fault. You were talking about being a therapist, a colleague, and a confidant.
No, I'm saying we have a lot. We should talk about the Dubs and celebrate the Dubs win, but this is also this ongoing theme of the officiating. And you say, well, they toned it down. Will the refs tone it down? Correct. They did tone down the actual calls in the AFC Championship, but the magnitude of certain calls that happened or were not the correct calls were huge. And it's like, okay, so you can on paper tone it down, but I want to play a video later on in Bookmarks of Bill Burr talking about the refs.
I heard about this. I want to hear Bill Burr on the refs. It's probably going to be really funny. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. It is funny. And also, by the way, a little side note on Bill Burr. If you haven't seen Old Dads on Netflix, it's a Bill Burr film.
Yeah. Dude, the new boss with the headset, the mic and stuff. I'm going to liberate you guys. You're not being fired. You're just being liberated. Yeah. Oh, that little douche.
Check out Old Dads if you can. But so anyway, it's
Bobby Cannavale. By the way, Bobby Cannavale, 50 years old, going up to the young girls in the office trying to be cool. He'd be like, yo, what's popping, yo? And stuff like that. The girls are like, what's popping? No, nothing. I'm just doing my job. Like Cannavale trying to be cool. Very funny movie. I recommend it too, T. Good call.
Yes. Heck yeah. So we're going to continue to process. We have a whole nother week to talk about this. I am happy to say that I have not seen the word three-peat a lot lately, or heard the word three-peat a lot. So I'm not going to, we don't need to talk about it anymore. I'm just glad that I haven't seen it a lot lately.
I just want to remind the general public at large, if we have any Chief sympathizers on board today, and I know you guys are out there, it's okay. You can show yourselves. I'm not going to do anything. I just don't like these guys. And I don't like the little too cozy relationship between the Chiefs and the officials. But I got to say that one of the reasons this whole three-peat concept bugs me so much, Tony, is because of what I've seen in my life. I saw the early 90s Cowboys. I saw the 70s Steelers, dude. I saw the 80s Niners. I saw the Redskins. I saw the 15-1 Bears team. I saw some of the greatest football teams ever assembled, all those Tom Brady Patriots teams. And are you telling me that this Chiefs team is the only team out of all the previously mentioned squads that this is the one that's going to three-peat? Are you guys kidding me? Like, the fact that the NFL is so eager to prop them up and say, like, here they are. This is the greatest team we've ever seen. You got to watch right now because this is something you'll never see again. I don't like how it's being manufactured. And I think that's the word. I think it's being manufactured. Couple of
correct. Hold on. Look at Rex. The only 3-peat we care about is Tony's top 3. That's good stuff, Rex.
I do agree. And while we're quoting out the comment line, can you get my guy Darren Reyes up there? Because Darren Reyes is talking about the meat. There it is. This guy's a gangster. Okay, this guy right here, Darren Reyes, I haven't met you yet, bro, but you're a gangster because you know enough to throw the Diana's on there. Like, it's not just the meat pie. Bro, it's Diana's meat pie. That's gangster. And by the way, Darren, I asked this of all my listeners and viewers that have, like, last names of someone famous. I went through this with my guy John Joseph last week. Here's another punk rock connection. Darren Reyes, are you related by any chance to former Black Flag vocalist Ron Reyes? You got any connection to Ron Reyes? I'm just throwing it out there. So, Tony, that was a guy who was singing in Black Flag before Rollins came in. So Ron Reyes was their vocalist, and he was like, I want to start playing guitar. Let's get a new singer. And that's when Henry stepped in. So anyway, Darren, let me know if you're related to Ron Reyes. And if so, book his ass on the show. I want to talk to him. I got like 8 million Black Flag questions.
I got to say, man, the depth you can go into the punk realm, into the punk genre is amazing. I can't go as deep as you can with punk. And hold on, Darren responded. Darren says, sorry, my dad played bass with Barry White, though. What the hell?
That's even better. Bro, playing bass with Barry White's like supersedes Ron Reyes kind of cachet. I knew there was something going on with Darren, Tony. I knew it. I could sense it. I could sense there was some famous like particles coming off this kid. That's great.
That's incredible. Hey, so real quick, can we I'm not gonna say the P word. Can we shift topics?
Well, what's the P word? I don't know what the what's the P word?
PIVOT. I'm not gonna even say it.
Well, okay, so we're gonna transition. We're gonna swing. You can use any number of synonyms, Tony. Synonyms.
The only time I use pivot is when I'm coaching my daughter's 4th grade basketball team, and I tell them to use their pivot foot. Use your pivot foot. Okay. I'm not going to use it as it's an adjective for your foot placement in basketball. It's not a verb. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways.
Hey, I'm sorry. This is my fault. My bad. I'm easily distracted. Dude, I'm like a dog. I'm like a little dog. Oh, look at that shiny object. I'm all distracted. Anyway, I see Baby Huey's in the mix today. And Baby Huey, you're all over it, dude. Ron Reyes was indeed the singer of Black Flag and Decline of Western Civilization. Great. Now, I can talk punk rock with Baby Huey all day. I've done it before, and I'll do it again going forward. Sorry for the distraction, Tony. That was my fault. Let's get this thing back on track. Go ahead.
And those of you who are viewing, that is Baby Huey of the Lamont Tonelli show for decades, and now with the Lamont show on the Bone with Chasta. So just in case anybody's wondering,
Baby Huey's good people, gentle giant. He's the kind of guy I was always like, if this kid ever gets pissed off, you better run. You better freaking run. Yes. He's a big dude, and he's such a sweetheart. But I always say, Tony, at some point that kid's going to snap, and I don't want to be anywhere near it when it happens. That's why I try to stay on his good side. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're making me think about Run Like Hell, Run to the Hills.
Okay. How about Run to You, Bryan Adams?
Run to You. Yes, exactly. You just made me think of songs with the running. Sorry, just a little side note. But Dubs last night, okay? As we signed off last night, the third quarter was over, and we went to the PMP sports desk for a score update last night, and it was tied at 84 after the third quarter. I was convinced the Warriors were going to just lay down in the fourth and lose that game. Dude, they win the game, and I went to the box score expecting Curry to just have a monster night. He had 21. That's a good night. But Wiggins had a really good night, and it was just a good team win without Draymond too, so I was very excited about that win, P, and I assume you are too, because I know you're a Dubs head, and I know
yes
Paulie is actually again helping me he's helped me through the NBA regular season over the years. Because
yeah, you
over
have
the
a
years,
hard time, dude. You have a hard time with the regular 82. Sometimes I got to
do.
drag Tony. I got to drag his ass out to Chase. I'd be like, bro, I got tickets. Let's go to the Warrior game. Well, I'm not a big regular season guy. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Come on,
I mean,
dude.
just full disclosure, I'm being totally honest that I jump
Yeah.
on the playoff bandwagon. I do.
Well, it's a whole different experience. You're right. I mean, that's when it gets ratcheted up into the best possible kind of competition. So I feel you. I feel you. Yeah.
Pause. Time out real quick. John Joseph. Okay. Running with the devil. All right.
Yeah.
Naomi keeps you running. Come on.
Naomi,
come on.
You want to know what, Naomi? That's actually one of my favorite Doobie Brothers songs. And it's like underrated.
You running.
Total.
Yeah. It keeps you running. Hey, on that note, on that note, Paulie, dude, everybody, please go check out the Yacht Rock documentary that Bill Simmons helped produce on, I believe it's I forget
HBO.
what streaming is it. HBO? Thank you.
Yeah.
Go watch it. It is thoroughly entertaining. 2 hours that you'll thoroughly enjoy.
Well, listen, this is what happens on Paulie Max Particles. You touch a nerve and then the people speak. So just to continue the thread, thank you, Naomi, Doobie Brothers, Rags, dude, Rags, Y&T, keep on running. By the way, something else you should know about Rags, everybody should know about Rags. He's deadly serious about 80s rock. He's not kidding around, whether it's Dokken, whether it's Y&T, he'll come at you and he means business. So that's very typical of Rags to shout out Y&T. Mm-hmm. Then I got Don Peralta running down a dream, a little Tom Petty. If I may, Tony, can I contribute my own track? U2, running to stand still. Great track on the Joshua.
That is a fantastic and very underrated song by U2. That's probably my favorite song on Joshua Tree.
Is that right?
On that album,
it's a good one. Shout out to
I was going to Pink Floyd, "Run Like Hell," Paulie. Just Run Like Hell.
One of my favorite Floyd tunes, ironically. And shout out to the U2 gig that I saw with Creative Tony and Brian Murphy down at Levi Stadium. They played the entire Joshua Tree album, start to finish, with a bunch of other stuff thrown in. That was a fun show.
We like to tell stories here on the Paulie Max Particles on
why we're here, man. Yeah.
Hashtag PMP, right? Hashtag PMP. You know me. And remind me to tell you about the John Elway 5510 story, because that anniversary was a couple days ago. I wanted to share that story today too at some point, Paulie.
Tony, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
No. And I was gonna say the night that we saw Joshua Tree, U2 played Joshua Tree at Levi's.
Yeah.
That was when we were on the roof of the stadium.
Yes, we
Remember
were.
that?
I do.
The Niners hosted us,
and
we're
so cool.
The roof of the stadium where there's like a full-on garden, and it's like a farm to table scene up there where they have like a restaurant and a garden up there. And
true story.
And then Jed York is handing us bottles of Irish whiskey. Remember that?
I remember it. I mean, we were passing it around in the seats. It was insane. And it was nice whiskey, too. It was like Redbreast, I think. So we were hitting whiskey right out of the bottle in our seats. I was like, wow, it's U2. I mean, I guess you got to be Irish. And Rags,
hold on. Dude. Keep going. Sorry. Dude, Patrick, welcome to the show, by the way. I don't think I've seen your name before. Welcome. Hope to see you many more times. Can't keep running away by the far side. Yes, dude. That is a home run. Yeah. That is a freaking home run. And then Paul McCartney and Wings.
Ooh.
John Joseph. There you go.
Great track.
Right.
Great track.
Oh, look at Sons of Johnny LeMaster. Hey, dude. Sons of Johnny LeMaster.
Dude.
Look at this.
Oh, hey, Sons. We gotta figure a way out. Okay, we might want to get him on the show.
Yeah, report back.
Hey, Sons, I'll tell you what, man. If you are available tomorrow, if you got 10 minutes, I'd love to get a guest hit, maybe like a little report of the show.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I have. Let me just make sure I have this gentleman's
contact info. Just Sons of Johnny, just email us pauliespod@gmail.com and we'll take it from there. pauliespod@gmail.com. Email us and we will coordinate if you're down, because we also got to set up some Pearl Jam tour date correspondence as well. So
dude, there's so much going on. And then I know I haven't forgotten about the Led Zeppelin IMAX experience either. I'm going to try to get some tickets to give away on the show. I'm actually working on that right now. I have a contact who I said, dude, I need tickets, make it happen. Hopefully he's going to come through. We'll see. But if he does, I'm going to give a couple away because I want to share that with everybody.
Yes.
So, Tony, I do want to talk to Sons of Johnny Lee. I wish I was going to that gig tonight. Couple things. I love going to shows at the LA Forum. It reminds me of Madison Square Garden in a lot of ways because there's so much history in that building, and you feel it when you walk in there. Like you feel it. And I try to go down there and see shows anytime I get a chance. And I wish I was going to this one. Tony, this is the one that's got Bruce Hornsby, all the Grateful Dead guys, Dave Matthews. I mean, it's got everybody kind of playing Grateful Dead music. So should be a really, really great show and a great cause, helping everybody out. It's like one tragedy after another with the collision, the flights last night, but then the fires were only a couple of weeks ago. So there's a lot of people that need a hand right now. And that's really what the show is about tonight. They're going to create funds to put back into the community.
Exactly, P. That's why we rally around. That's what music's for. That's what sports are for. That's what it's all a way to just kind of bring everybody together, man. And now we got Adam Silver wanting to like decrease the amount of time we hang together.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought about that again today because I'm like, I posted something on Twitter for our show earlier about that portion of our show last night about Adam Silver talking about, I like the 10-minute quarters. I'm like,
what the hell, dude? Yeah, less product, same high price. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and less of an escape. Like we like the escape. Why are we trying to shorten the escape? Why are we trying, like we talked about last night? What are we in a rush? What's the rush?
Listen, I wouldn't be doing my job if you drop the word escape 10 times like that, and I don't shout out Journey Escape, which I'm going to do right now. Shout out Journey Escape. You heard me. Great album.
Nice,
and then Tony, nice. I want to go back to that. What?
The Escape Club? You didn't mention the Escape Club. If you're going to mention Escape, you didn't mention the Escape Club, okay?
I don't know that I can even speak to it. I don't know.
The Escape Club from the 80s. Help us out. Rags, maybe somebody.
I don't know anything about this.
In the wild, wild west. Remember the Escape Club? Come on, man. Come on.
What?
Dude, yeah. The Wild Wild West was their big hit, right?
I understand.
You remember that song?
Well, I remember Cool Mo D's Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West. I like that one. I don't know about this Escape Club nonsense.
One of the finer moments of Tim Ryan's hits with you and Murph was when you guys all started singing Cool Mo D's Wild Wild West.
Yeah. I like Cool Mo D, bro. Wild Wild West, bro. yeah. I wonder what Tim Ryan's doing right now. He goes underground, by the way, just so people know. Like, if they go like, hey, Paulie, get Tim Ryan on the show. Dude, I would if I could. As soon as Tim Ryan walks out of that broadcast booth, the last game of the year, dude, he goes underground. He like rides horses. He goes hunting. You could text him, and Tony, he'll ghost your ass like you read about. Doesn't even matter. You guys could be best friends. You ain't getting a response from Tim Ryan during the offseason. He refuses to interact with anybody outside his immediate perimeter. Back to the Warrior game last night, because I wanted to shout out another guy. Warriors do get that win.
Yes.
116-109 over arguably the best team easily in the West, maybe in the entire league. And the Warriors have beaten them twice this year. And you mentioned Wiggins. Wiggins had a monster game last night. Curry had a great game. Also, Kevon Looney matched his career high. He had 18 points. He had 4 blocks, played his ass off. And I'm a big Kevon Looney guy. We've talked about this on the show before. But that kind of win, when you see them play like that, Tony, when they're inspired, they're engaged. And when Wiggins is happening like that, I feel like, I wonder if they have everything they need right here. Because, like, I mean, they beat the best team in the West. They didn't even have Draymond Green. They didn't even have Draymond. And they played their asses off. So it's games like this when I wonder, why don't we see this on a regular basis from the Warriors when they have the personnel, they have the firepower to beat an OKC? Why are we not getting this more consistently? Like, what would you say?
That's a great question, man.
Yeah.
Well, remember we were talking about, is it possible that there's like a dog days of the NBA? Like there's the dog days of summer. I don't know. But I got to say, like, Podziemski had 11 last night. Gary Payton also had 15. And by the way, dude, that dunk, the only dunk.
Oh, GP2s? Yeah, he hung for a while. That was a monster dunk.
That was like, shades of Baron Davis over Kirilenko way back when.
Okay.
Remember that? Because it was like the same style. Like, it was crazy, man. That thing was and Peyton has ridiculous hops. I mean, ridiculous hops. He just keeps elevating and elevating as he's going up, man. So good.
I gotta say, Tony, you mentioned that Baron Davis dunk, and this is just good fortune and good luck. But I was actually in the building that night with Murph.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Raymond had us in there. And my biggest memory of that night, there were 2 things. One, that literally everybody in the building stood the entire game. From the front row to the last row, everybody stood the entire game. And the excitement was so insane that night of the Baron dunk that here's what I remember, Tony. It actually got hot inside the arena. Like the body heat, like there was so much excitement, and there was like body heat just emanating from the crowd. Like it was like 85 degrees in the building. I'm serious. It was an unforgettable night.
I fully believe it, dude. And just because we can, and why not? I'm just gonna let's check this out. Okay, you see that right there, P? Let's just watch it real quick.
Oh, Beedrins. Yeah, give it to me. Get up there, Baron.
Boom.
But
dude, and then the jersey.
Hey,
One more
Baron
time.
Davis, show us your tees. Yeah, and he does. Here they are.
I mean,
Bam.
that is just outrageous, dude. I couldn't be that dunk until last night. I thought there was nothing that could compete with that dunk, and then Peyton's last dunk last night. I'm gonna try and find it while we're here. But
Well, it was a great dunk, and it was like the highlight of the night. And don't forget, OKC had trimmed the lead late in the fourth. They got it down to 3, and then I think it was when Steph hit a big 3-pointer from way beyond the line, and everything kind of fell into place for the final minute and a half of the game. But what's your answer as to why don't we see this more often for the Dubs? Like, how do you take that on? Because that's what I want. Show me this on a regular basis. They got Phoenix coming in tomorrow. Show me the same kind of effort again tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night is huge with Phoenix coming in. It's another test. I mean, I think Phoenix has them by a couple games in the standings right now, and it's another. What are you made of? I just don't know. What are they? 50 games into the season, almost 50 games into the season. So it's right in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Is there a malaise? Is there like a? I don't know. I really don't know. But right.
Yeah.
Is there some kind of like lull where it's like Curry didn't play against the Jazz the other night, and I thought that was a good night for him to take off. Again, if Adam Silver shortens the quarters, I don't want to see any players taking any games off.
That's a very good point. Yeah, with this load management thing, maybe they're going to manage the load so much that nobody's going to have to miss games anymore. You know what I mean? Make these games so short.
Load management. It's just a joke, dude. So I really don't know the answer to that, Paulie, because last night they looked like a different team.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So part of me is really encouraged. And I guess the other kind of question that comes out of this, Tony, would be, do the Warriors still need to seriously consider a trade to make a playoff push? Because as it stands right now, they're not a playoff team. They're one game over 500. They're 24-23. They are below the cutoff line. So if the playoffs started today, they would not be going. Now, there's plenty of time. There's plenty of time to get them in the mix. And again, if they play like we saw last night, like they're capable of, they could be a really dangerous team. Like if everyone's healthy, they can wind up. But do you feel like after what we saw last night, they don't have to be as urgent for a trade, or do you feel like, no, they still need a piece? Like, where's your head with that?
If they can play the way they played last night on a more consistent basis, then no, you don't need to add anything, and you can keep the continuity and keep the camaraderie together, right? The chemistry, and not try and bring in somebody that's disgruntled like Jimmy Butler. The Jimmy Butler, bringing him in, of course he's a super stud. He's an incredible basketball player. But what is the vibe that he's bringing, right? Like we don't know.
I'm with you.
We just don't know. And I don't know. That's why we were talking about, De'Aaron Fox. Would you trade for De'Aaron Fox? I would rather trade for De'Aaron Fox just based on vibe.
No, I feel you. It's a real thing. That's a real thing. And knowing this and watching this of the worst traits of Jimmy Butler's behavior, knowing that that's possible if things sour, like it could turn into this kind of mess. And no, that's not appealing on any level. Mark Graves loved the Curly Neal dribbling kind of exhibition by Curry. That was amazing. He was just like taking laps around the offense, and that was so cool. And then Kerr called the timeout, but Steph was laughing. I don't know if you saw that when they called that timeout. He walked to the bench. He was laughing. That was a great moment. Hey, right below Howard, bring up Howard. Right below Mark, bring up Howard's quote. This is something we've tried to address. Howard Kushlin asked, guys, why do you start the show at random times every day? It's the exact opposite of what you want to do to build an audience. Hey, Howard, I feel you, dude. We're trying to figure this out. And Tony might be the better guy to answer this because Tony's been pretty sharp is in regards to kind of where to place the show, why we're placing it, when we're placing it. And actually, Howard, we are developing somewhat of a routine. Monday will always be 11 a.m. With unforeseen circumstances. Like something crazy happens, you're going to have to adjust the time. But every Monday, it's generally going to be 11. Every Friday is generally going to be at noon, hence high noon on Friday. Tony, it looks like we're settling into a nice Wednesday night at 8 o'clock thing. Now, last night, Howard, we did a night show because Tony and I had a meeting in the city during the day, so we couldn't do our afternoon show. So it feels like Monday, Wednesday, Friday are set. Monday's 11, Wednesday's 8 p.m., Friday's high noon. And then Tuesday, Thursday, we're kind of tweaking as we go. But I do like this 2 p.m. slot, Tony. I don't know, on Thursday, like I'd like the 2 o'clock. I think and also, Howard, final thing on this, what we're also doing is giving people during different day parts a chance to access the show live. Like people work during the day, they can't get to the show. Maybe they can jump on live at night. And we're finding that, by the way. Like, Tony, those night shows we're doing we're getting some of our biggest numbers for the night show. So Howard, it's a work in progress, man. We're trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And I appreciate full transparency, Paulie. And yes, we're both night owls. So I think there's something to that. We're talking about vibes and the vibe tribe. Shout out Neil at Longbridge Pizza.
Yep.
Like that. There's a vibe to it, and like sprinkling the particles, hence the name of the show. Sprinkle them around and see where they kind of gravitate towards, right? Or what we can do. By the way, I got to do Leah Phillips real quick. What's up, Leah? By the way, Jimmy and Draymond together. How about that? That would be very interesting.
Well, Draymond's not going to tolerate any nonsense. I mean, we've seen this. What he did to Jordan Poole, you know what I mean? And he also don't forget that I think it was a Sacramento King game up in Sacramento when Kevin Durant was here. KD's second year, Draymond just undressed him in front of everybody like during a timeout. So as far as that dynamic goes, Leah, all I know is Draymond is like the real heartbeat and leader of that team. And if Jimmy Butler tries to come in here and start flexing any of that nonsense, Draymond's just not going to have it. He's not going to allow it.
Well, look at Dean G too. Fox is the missing piece. Like, there's a lot of love for De'Aaron Fox out there, Paulie. Here's lot of love, man.
Here's what is really appealing about that. He's a great kid, De'Aaron Fox, great scorer, very exciting player. And you know what I like? It would give Curry the opportunity to play off the ball more without having to be the primary ball handler. Like, let De'Aaron Fox do most of the ball handling and let Steph just work on getting open looks. He's doing that a lot as it is, but I also think that it might free Steph up somewhat to get better looks if he doesn't have to contend with ball handling. So sure. I would love to have De'Aaron Fox come in. And
I want to throw this in from Sons and Johnny too, real quick. Night shows are fire, dude. Yes, Johnny. Love to see you at the nighttime. Nighttime's the right time, man. So thank you. And so I just wanted to show that real quick. Yeah. And Paulie, I feel like the topic of conversation should lead us towards Tony's top 3, but I don't know if you're ready for it. So you tell me, because
the only reason I've done these 35 minutes is to get to Tony's top 3. I wouldn't have shown up if we could have started with Tony's top 3 right out of the gate. It's my favorite feature of the show, except for maybe bookmarks, because bookmarks can go well. And by the way, tomorrow we'll have our make good on missing last week's particle pick of the week, because I have one still. It's sitting right here. My particle pick of the week is right here. Tony, I got notes like a madman, so I'm ready for that tomorrow. We're going to bring that back, and we're going to bring back the musical assignment. Yes. And don't think that I didn't start building the playlist. I did, you guys. Anybody who's got the Spotify service, go to Spotify and just go search PMP 25. And each week when we do the musical assignment, I'll continue to add the songs to it so anybody can listen to it anytime. And right now it's kind of lonely. There's only 2 tracks in there. There's a Meter song and there's a Grateful Dead song, but I'm going to add to it again tomorrow. So
pretty good start, dude. Pretty good start with Meters and Grateful Dead.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all, bro.
As we add musical assignments, we'll add to this playlist. It'll just grow organically to be wonderful, dude. So stand by, Paulie.
Tony's top 3. I like it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Tony's top 3.
I got to put up Dominic's artwork. Dom's artwork is phenomenal.
Wait a minute. Top 3.
Where's there you go?
Let me see you with the arms folded with your Popeye forearms. Give me that one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Look at this kid. That's like the most serious I've ever seen you. What are you doing in this photo? What's happening right
I don't know, man. It's a picture. I don't know. I really don't even know.
Yeah,
I don't even know. It's not like I go around taking pictures of myself, So it's like I don't have a lot of pictures of myself. I don't know.
All right,
you're doing stuff online. Like, here, send us a photo of yourself for your profile. I'm like, I don't have a picture of myself.
I like with the arms though. I like the whole kind of like very serious pose you got going there.
Yeah. Well, dude, Popeye, I love it, man. Eat your spinach, everybody. By the way, great move when you go out to dinner, ask for a side of sauteed spinach, but make sure it's sauteed in olive oil, not butter, and you're going to be good to go. Thank me later. Fresh garlic, fresh spinach, sauteed olive oil on the side. It's a great side dish.
I'm not going to dispute anything you just said. I'm a big fan myself. Let's carry on, Tony. What's in your top 3 today?
Well, stand by, Paulie.
Okay, see, now you're starting to get back into the creative Tony kind of producer mode that I know and appreciate and love so much. But it is hard. I'm trying to tell the listeners, man, like it's so, especially for somebody like me, dude, who's so easily distracted. That's why, like, I'm not kidding. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I'm kind of positioning myself. So, because I have a second laptop off to my left off screen, and I have scores and stories and stuff over there I can bring up. But I also try to physically turn my body away from the comment line, because if every time I look at it, I get sucked into like a black hole. So while I do love you guys, I'm also trying to focus on Tony, and I know you're trying to produce. So there's a lot going on. But I'm glad we're feeding the ducks. The groove is back. The mellow, chill vibe is back.
Also, Richard De Leon, I just want to say, did you miss the Bill Burr clip? You did not. It's coming up in Bookmarks. Stand by, as we like to say in the industry. And yes, Paulie, on that note, I'm used to running a big soundboard, right, for radio.
Correct.
So now everything is condensed onto this interface of what we're running now, and it's like, man, it is wild, but it's super fun. I'm having a good time. So appreciate your patience, everybody that's checking out the show.
Yeah,
appreciate your patience as we kind of navigate the new landscape. But hey, so Tony's top three. First question, we were hitting on it. This is what made me think of Tony's top three. Oh boy,
I saw it too. I don't even know if you want to put. I know. I saw it.
Right.
I see it.
I
know that's getting up there. That's a little too close because we're still taking meetings. I don't know if we should be doing that yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, Regs. Yeah. Use your imagination. That's all.
Yes.
He's an inventive young man, full of ingenuity and new engineering ideas. Yeah.
Yes, just feed the ducks, man. But I'm just first question for you, Paulie, on Tony's top three is we were talking about the Dubs.
Yes.
Do you think last night was like a turning the corner moment for the season? Like,
wow.
Like, because if they go out and lose tomorrow night against Phoenix, then I don't know. And if they lose big, then I don't know what to think about this team. But right now, do you feel like it's a turn in the corner moment?
I like this question. I really do, because I kind of felt that last night. I really did. That's why I said, like, why don't we see this on a more regular basis? I mean, I'll tell you, by all stretches, by all accounts, that win was impressive. It was inspiring. I'll go so far as to say, Tony, it was spiritually uplifting. It really was.
That's a great call, Paulie, because wasn't it nice to see the players happy?
Yeah, and the crowd, dude. The crowd came to life.
Yes.
Dude, the crowd has been kind of flat this year because the team has been kind of flat, and they haven't been great at home. They're 14-12 at home, but they used to be dominant at home. People did not roll into the Warriors gym and get out with a win. It was rare. So to hear the crowd come back to life, to see the reaction on the bench, dude, after the GP2 dunk, Draymond, holding Kuminga back, like that was just fun. They were having a good time, and that's like the greatest trait or characteristic in my mind of the Steve Kerr era Warriors run is that they play the game with so much joy. Like Michael Jordan played angry. Like Jordan was like, I'm gonna effing slice your throat, man. And he would like dunk on Ewing and dunk on everybody. He was pissed off for greatness. Shout out Ray Lewis. But Steph is the opposite. Steph just like radiates his joy that he plays the game with. And I do kind of feel like that's been missing. And it's hard to watch Steph kind of, go through rough times after being just our guiding light for so long. But yeah, Tony, in a lot of ways, man, going back to your question, I think it actually did indicate that. I think it did indicate the turning of a corner. The All-Star break is coming up in a couple of weeks. This is setting up really nicely for them to go into the break. If they can continue this, and I would love to see them beat the Suns tomorrow night. They actually had a hell of a contest last night with Minnesota. That was a great matchup, too. And the Timberwolves got that one, 121-113. But it's always fun to have KD back in the building. You know what I mean? I'm not a big Devin Booker guy, Tony. We've never really talked about this. Devin Booker is such a great scorer, but he's kind of a punk sometimes. Like he thinks he's a tough guy, but he's not a tough guy. Kind of bums me out. But I want to see another performance like we saw last night, tomorrow night when the Suns come in. Yeah,
agreed. I think we'll have a better discussion and a better feel for our Monday show after Friday night's game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yes, Don Peralta, give it to me, KD. That's one of the
give it to me,
reference,
KD.
By the way.
Give it to me, KD. Give it to me, KD. Yeah. Dude, the greatest conversation I ever had with Kevin Durant was actually about Rick James, because Raymond Ritter had us out of practice when KD was on the team, and KD had his he didn't have his socks pulled up, and we were just hanging out talking, and I looked down, and on the back of one of his calves he has a tattoo of Rick James. How cool is that? Tony, on the other calf, he has a tattoo of Tupac Shakur, but you never see him because he's always got the socks up. So I go, dude, those are great tats, man. I especially love the Rick James one. And he's like, oh, man, snap, you like Rick James? I go, yeah. And then we went off and we wrote the tribute song after that interaction. I wanted to make sure we served up something for Kevin Durant that he enjoyed. As much as he enjoys toking the ganja, because that's another favorite pastime of KD. Well documented on that David Letterman interview. David Letterman's like, how often do you indulge in marijuana, Kevin Durant? And KD goes, I'm high right now, like right in the middle of the interview. So KD, you keep on doing your thing. We'll see you tomorrow night. What else you got in your top three, T?
Number 2 in the top 3, we're going to shift gears because, it feels like the NFL has become just a year-round sport now because the draft is such a big thing. The off season's a big thing.
Yeah.
Then before you know it, it's OTAs, and then it's mini camps, and then training camp, and then back to the season, right? So it's constantly going. The depression is fully set in for me, at least.
It is.
No
you talk
postseason.
about this all the time. I know. Yeah.
Well, because, and again, I guess it's a byproduct of how spoiled we've been with great 49er teams over the years.
Yeah, true.
And I'm just used to them just make the playoffs, right? I'm not expecting Super Bowl, none of that. I'm not unrealistic like that. I just expect playoff football every January.
I kind of do too, especially with Shanahan as the head coach. I expect them to be a playoff team too. I do.
Right, and we've got that new special teams coach Brant Boyer, who Pat McAfee played under at Indianapolis. He and Adam Vinatieri were speaking very highly about Brant Boyer as the new special teams coach. You got Robert Saleh back. Do you think, Paulie, healthy roster? McCaffrey's back, good to go. Let's just say they bring Greenlaw back and he's healthy. Yeah. And Purdy gets paid and all that jazz. Do you think the Niners can get back to the Super Bowl next season?
Wow. I don't know. I just like that you said all that jazz, dude. I like that. I would encourage you to say that more often. Nice. All that jazz, dude. That worked for me. All that jazz. Give me I want a pizza with pepperoni, peppers, all that jazz. Just throw all that jazz on the pizza. I'm going to try that out next time I go to Longridge. Do I think they can be a Super Bowl team? It's a really good question. I would say
because
I think they can, Tony, but to be realistic about this, I think if they don't do it next year, it might be some time again, because this window is not going to be open forever. These guys are already look at what happened with Christian McCaffrey, man. Last year he's the NFL Offensive Player of the Year. This year he struggled to just stay on the field, and he was never really at full power. So I don't know what he's going to have left, but assuming your scenario, you said everyone's healthy and all that jazz, that especially all that jazz, it's more important than the health. I think that, yes, they can, but I feel like it's got to happen next year because this thing is not going to last forever. Injuries are a real part of the game, and players come and go. Like, guys come and go. Will Debo even be – I don't even know what's going to happen. Who's going to be on the roster? So how about you? Same question to you. How do you look at that?
Like you said, man, the window is closing. The window is closing, and I feel like it's so difficult. Look at Josh Allen. Look at the Bills, how difficult it is to get to the Super Bowl. Right. Yeah. So yes, I think they can, but there's going to have to be no BS. I don't want Debo getting in any kickers' faces. I don't want any holdouts in the preseason.
Yeah, right.
Trent Williams coming in. I don't want Trent Williams coming in, holding out. I don't want Ayuk any nonsense from him. I don't want, and I got to show a kicker tweet from Larry Krueger later on in Bookmarks that is fantastic, by the way.
Okay. All right.
Whoever they have kicking for them, I want cohesion. I want McCaffrey.
Harmony. You want harmony.
Yeah. Harmony. We're big on harmony here at Polymax Particles.
Shout out Bones Thugs. Yeah, go ahead, T. Yeah. Someone had to say it. Yeah.
I've actually seen him in concert.
Nice, dude. I'm glad I brought that up. Good. Where was the show? Where?
This was up at Grand Sierra Resort Casino in Reno, dude, of all places.
Very impressive. Very impressive. How was the gig? How was it?
It was good. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad
I went in with no expectations, and they surpassed my expectations. I was happy.
You got a year on this, roughly? You got like an era?
This is pre-COVID, maybe 6 years ago, probably.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, about 6-7 years ago. Yeah. But what I love about McCaffrey is that he fully embraces being a 49er. Did you see he posted something on social media when the Super Bowl was set, and he says, I hope both teams lose. Right?
Yeah. Debo said something similar too. Yeah.
And then Debo's like, I got to go with AJ Brown and Saquon. But he still said that he doesn't like the Eagles.
No, nobody does, dude. That's the thing. People are going to prop me up as some kind of Eagle fan now, and that's like the farthest thing from the truth. But it speaks to how much I dislike this Kansas City Chiefs team. Right, I dislike them so. I haven't been this passionate, as far as disliking a team or a player in a long, long time. I try to be cool now. Like, it's too much. Like, my blood pressure spikes too high, so I try to be kind of controlled about like my likes and dislikes, but this is like an exception. Dude, these guys really do turn my stomach. What do you got, T?
Dom, I got to Dom right here. He says, if they do, McCaffrey needs a new song set to Metallica's Battery. Dom, that song already exists. We didn't, it only played like once or twice on the Murphy Mac show, but that song has been made. Paulie crushed the vocals. And at some point, we're going to have to unleash it somehow, some way. I don't know how, getting past the copyright issues and all that stuff. But yes, McCaffrey, Battery, absolutely. McCaffrey! Can I say McCaffrey?
McCaffrey! Ooh, by the way, we'll see Metallica down at Levi Stadium. I believe the gigs are in June. And you're going T, I'm going T.
Yep.
Shout out Vicky Strait. She's the best. And always great to see Metallica on their home turf. So I look forward to those gigs. Dom, I'll see you there too. Dude, we'll sing the McCaffrey song together, for God's sakes. Dub City, Jason Kelce trying to decide who he's rooting for like we give any Fs. You know what, bro? Hey, Dub City, have we ever seen an athlete who I think like we all universally liked and respected when he was a player? He was a guy like, he's a center. He's getting his ass kicked on the tush push. Now he retires. Dude, every time I turn around, there's a Kelce standing there, whether it's Jason or his brother, Taylor, the whole thing. Like, I'm done with all of it, Tony. And I feel like Jason Kelce is an honorary member of the Chiefs. And I'm ODing on him. I'm ODing. And he's wearing like a Swami hat and shit. Like he's doing game shows. Like, bro, cut it out. Seriously, you're going to make me not like you. And I want to like Jason Kelce. He's a pretty good guy.
Same, Paulie. I'm right there with you, but it is Kelce fatigue, just like I got Brady fatigue. And they're not bad people. It's just too much. It's too much. And I saw Mike Greenberg.
It's too much. It's too much, y'all. Yeah,
It's too much.
What a Greeny.
He was saying, like, there's no chance anything's fixed. And he goes, do you think that a $20 billion industry like the NFL cares about Taylor Swift? And I'm like, dude,
that's a stupid thing. That's a silly thing to say. I'm surprised he said that. Of course they want that. Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely. It's more views for them. It's more merchandise purchased. It's more everything for them. Absolutely they do.
No, I'm surprised he would say something like that. Yeah.
As soon as they started dating, we saw Taylor Swift on the screen every time the Chiefs were on TV. We saw Taylor Swift after every score.
It's funny how she kind of came right along, and they haven't like lost any game. They've lost, I think, one game since she's been dating Travis Kelce. So very curious. Yeah, what a coincidence. Wow.
And it's again, I have to preface all this, Paulie, with the Chiefs are a good football team. This is not, I tip my cap. I tip my cap to the Chiefs. They're in the Super Bowl. I'm jealous as hell. I tell my friend Josh, who lives here in San Carlos, I'm jealous, dude. At the end of the day, I am jealous that your squad, you're prepping for a Super Bowl, and I'm sitting here talking smack about your team. Whatever. But you can't deny all of the subplots, right?
Yeah. Subplots ahoy, dude. There's tons of them. Subplots ahoy. Rags checks in and goes, not only that, but Kelce ruined my football number. Rags wore number 62 in college. You know what I'd say, Rags? Forget about Kelce. Just think about Guy McIntyre. If you want a good example of a good 62, you think about Guy McIntyre with the neck roll, pulling. He's pulling. He was a pulling guard, just coming around the curve and laying fools out for Roger Craig, opening holes for Garrison as well, Tony. As you well know. That's for you and me. That's for you and me. Give me number 3.
By the way, also one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, Guy McIntyre.
Another strange but true Paulie Mac story, only because this just came up. This is what happened. When I first started doing radio with Tony in the 90s, like I nobody knew who I am, and it's still kind of like that. I'm not a household name or anything, but people in the Bay kind of know me now. But that's only after 20 years of like being on the air every single day. So when Tony and I first started, nobody knew who we were, and we're trying to get established, and we're trying to book guests and everything. And Guy McIntyre, for whatever reason, dude, we just hit it. We just formed like an early bond with Guy, and he became like one of our go-to guests. Dude, he would come in the building. He would like hang out with us and stuff. And I'll never forget this. I came home from work one day, really, really early in my career, and we still had answering machines at that point. And I hit the answering machine, and this message was something like this. Oh, hey, Paulie Mac. Hey, listen, it's Guy McIntyre. Here's my phone number. Give me a call back. I want to talk to you. I'm like, holy yes, Guy McIntyre is on my voicemail. Like, that was like blew my mind at that point, because I didn't know any of these guys. And now, I mean, I've just been very fortunate to get to know, and I know you have too, Tony. We've met a lot of amazing people, but Guy was like the first. He was like the first high-profile Niner that I formed like a relationship with, and still to this day. I saw him up at Whetstone Winery a couple of months ago. We did that event with Patrick Willis, and
he's a classic example of how the Niners are so good about keeping in touch with former players.
Yeah,
and keeping them involved. Guys involved with the current team and the current organization. And I couldn't be happier. Keena Turner, all those guys. By the way, I just got to Rags. You summed this up perfectly. Watching the Super Bowl is going to be like when I accidentally walked in on my parents.
I know Rags' parents too. Now I'm a little traumatized from that image as well, Rags. Now my head's going to get a little messed up. By the way, I talked to Rags earlier today. I'll make this announcement now. I'll call my shot like Babe Ruth a week ahead of time. But I talked to Rags today, and like Tony was saying, like how just sickening this matchup is, and like I was watching the NFL today on ESPN earlier this morning, and I'm like, I'm just getting sick watching this. Like Eagle fans, Chiefs fans, Sirianni, Fumblerooski, Taylor Swift. It's like the worst possible combination of elements for me. Like, and I want to enjoy the Super Bowl instead of going to be all upset all day and pissed off. But I said to Rags earlier today, I go, hey man, I think I need another Rags hit next Friday before the Super Bowl weekend where he gives us like his top 3 reasons this is the worst matchup in Super Bowl history. Because it might be. It might be. So anyway, we'll look forward to another Rags hit next week. I know we got a lot of Rags fans, dude, in the comments community. So how do you feel about this?
We might have to make a little show open like for Rags rants or something. We might have to make something.
Rags riffs. Rags rants. Something.
Rags rants, Rags riffs, something. We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. We will figure it out.
I have an idea. I was talking to my friend here, Pete Hoffman. You know Pete, Paulie, here in San Carlos. We were talking this morning after school drop off, and I was like, how I'm going to make this Super Bowl enjoyable? I'm going to load up on prop bets like I've never loaded up before. $5 bet, $10 bet. I think PMP, I think Polymax Particles should pick a prop bet that we place for the Super Bowl. We do it next Friday, and the listeners can be in on it too.
Love it.
Let's do it. Let's do a show prop bet. We got to pick something that's wacky though. Okay.
Like coin flip on the toss, or like who scores the first touchdown, or will the first points be a field goal? It's endless. There's so many prop bets for this game, but I dig that. Great idea. Okay. Let's place one next Friday. But I'm going to ask you, because you're like a kind of a gambling. You're like well, you're far more advanced than I am. I'm generally not involved, but Tony's always got something going. So I would ask you to be the guy that kind of presents the prop bets. You bring them to the show, and then we'll find one that works for everybody.
Okay, cool. I mean, I don't know if this is good fathering or bad fathering, but I've got my son helps me make my FanDuel lineups now.
Probably not the smartest moves you've made as a parent. Yeah. But that's y'all's business. Yeah.
I'm coaching him up for what to expect in the future.
Have you started your son on like shots of Jack Daniels and Marlboro Reds yet? I'm just wondering. Have you guys started like smoking together or driving really fast? Like Tony's on the freeway with this kid. He's like, "Hey Dom, take your seatbelt off. I want to show you something." And he's like, like pins the freaking floors of the car. Yeah, Dom, it's a little more fun this way with some risk involved. That's kind of Tony's parenting techniques. Yeah,
I am proud to say that I've never. Well, we can't even. Yeah,
nah, let's not. Let's not. Yeah.
But Paulie, real quick before we get to number 3 of Tony's top 3, and I do want to get to a couple of bookmarks, especially the Bill Burr one.
Okay. Okay.
We'll just do a couple bookmarks, but a couple goodies.
All good.
You mentioned something that I really think I want to hit on real quick.
Okay.
About Eagles fans and Niners fans.
Yeah.
And how they travel, right? And something that you came across this week. So give it to us.
Well, I read this report yesterday, actually, that said in the season that just ended, the regular season, the 24 season, that the Philadelphia Eagle fan base and the 49er fan base, they did a study on this. The report was that those are the 2 best traveling fan bases in the NFL in terms of like the road games. They said for Philly and for the 49ers, the average was up to 40% of the seats in away games for the 49ers were occupied by San Francisco fans. And same goes for Philly. Now, I knew the Niner fans traveled. This has been going on like during the Shanahan era. Like we've seen this before.
Yeah.
We saw it in Dallas. We saw it in Los Angeles. We've seen it anytime there's like a road playoff games. The Niner fans are traveling, and it wasn't like that back in the 80s, man, during the Walsh years. The Niner fans did not travel like this. I was there. I'm telling you, it wasn't like this. It's a newer phenomenon. but I'm like proud of it. I really am. It makes me proud. Like, yeah, our fans.
Anytime I turn on a Niner road game and you see like that sea of red in the stands, it's such a cool thing. And then when you hear them when they score and you hear how loud it is, at Lincoln Financial Field last year, or
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that is props to as they're called, the faithful. Props to the faithful.
I got to say, Tony, and this will be my last comment, and then I want that number 3 on your top 3, but I traveled with the Niners. I shouldn't say that. I wasn't with the team, but I went down to New Orleans in 2019, which turned out to be an incredible game. That was a Jimmy Garoppolo game, one of the best Garoppolo games I think he ever played, where he hit Kittle on the sideline late in the fourth quarter. Kittle was dragging dudes. That whole experience, and I was meeting my wife down there, so I traveled solo, and I was at the airport, and dude, the feeling, like when you're at the gate, I think I went down like on a Thursday night, all Niner fans. Dude, I'm not kidding. The plane was like 70%. We had Go Niner chants on the plane. But it's like an instant bonding, though. Like everybody on that plane became fast friends. And then in New Orleans, I experienced it, dude. They had a block party outside of the Superdome. They had like a roped off area, which tells me they must have had a permit to do this. All Niner fans, a sea of red. And I was like, this is incredible. So anyway, I'm just saying it's something to really try to get to do. If you haven't traveled with the Niner fans to any road game, try to make a point to do that next year. It's an incredible experience. And like everybody you see becomes like your best friend. It's like, it's so much fun. So
it's very reminiscent of like Deadheads when traveling across country to like Dead related shows or fish shows for me, or like if you Paulie, we need to rally people to go to this David Lee Roth Rat Festival at Merriweather Post. I forget. I got to get the date on that. I think
you damn right you do. You don't have to rally me. I'm already there. Like in my head, I'm already there. I'm already waiting.
But like, if I'm walking through the airport and I see somebody wearing like a rat shirt or a dead shirt or whatever, I'm gonna go over them and introduce myself and say hi. You know what I mean? But it's the same thing with like Niner fans. I've seen it on the road where they're stoked, high-fiving each other because they're wearing the Niner gear. It's the best.
And I got to tell you, Tony, and I don't want to get too sentimental or too sappy on this, but you guys have no idea how happy it makes Tony and I to look over and see that we're almost kind of starting to form like our own little scene here, like the particle scene, like because I see some familiar faces now day after day, and it makes us so happy that we have like our own little community happening. And Los D talking about that New Orleans, few better road trips than New Orleans. I did a cemetery. Dude, I did one of those too. I did a cemetery tour. It was insane.
It's crazy.
There is like a creepiness to New Orleans too. There's like a vibe. You don't mess
with
voodoo.
It's a voodoo. Yeah.
I'm not messing with the voodoo. Now, some people think it's a joke. Oh, I'm going to put a voodoo spell. Dude, I take that shit seriously. I am not messing around.
Do you remember when Shannon? Do you remember when Shannon Kaler brought back a voodoo doll from New Orleans and put it in my studio?
Kaler, get that thing out of here right now. Because he's playing around with dark forces he doesn't understand. And Kelly's like, what happens if I put a pin in it, man? You know, I'm like, I don't want to know. Don't stick any pins in that thing. So, no, I don't mess with the whole voodoo vibe. But I did the cemetery tour as well, Los, and it was super cool.
And he's right about New Orleans, man. It's my favorite city to visit, hands down. There's no question. Hands down. If you haven't been to Jazz Fest or French Quarter Fest, I highly recommend going to one of those two festivals. And here's Winks, dude. Winks checking in, P. Diamond, David Lee Roth, and Rat, May 2nd through the 4th. Mary, let's do some homework. We're gonna do some homework on that and see if we can get down there or over there. We don't want to say.
I tell you right now, the 3 most likely candidates to attend that gig are right here in front of you. One of them's Jeff Winkler, one of them's me, and the other one's Creative Tony. Listen, Jeff Winkler and I, my buddy Winks. You ready for this? True story, dude. True effing story. We drove to freaking Salinas. Okay.
Nice.
Salinas. And we saw a Rat gig in, I'm going to say this is about 06, 05, not the height of the Rat popularity. Tony, the gig, it was at like a freaking, like a rodeo, what do you even call those? I don't even know what they're called. A rodeo venue, a rodeo stadium, whatever. So, dude, basically standing in a dirt field, okay, just dirt, not grass, no seats, not just dirt. We're standing in some dirt field where there are usually cows taking dumps, and cowboys are roping steer and stuff like that. And then it's me and Winks and Piercy, and it was a great story. Shout out to Salinas, California, the home of the true Rat fans. Creative Tony,
Salinas, California, lettuce capital of the world, by the way.
And if I'm not mistaken, does Jeremy Newberry live there? Another 62 for you, Rags.
Ooh, he might be. Is he Gilroy or Salinas? He's in that region. I think he's in that region.
I knew he's down there somewhere. Shout out Jeremy Newberry, number 62. He was a tough bastard, man. You don't mess with Jeremy Newberry.
Real quick, before we get to number 3, the comments are flying, man.
I know.
Naomi says French Quarter Fest is awesome. Yes, it is. Dub City says shout out Jake E. Lee.
Oh, bro.
We got Dom saying Pearl Jam at Jazz Fest. Sons of Johnny Master. I'm almost positive we'll be there. It's just. Thank you. You guys are on fire. You guys are just on fire. Keep
I know for a fact Sons of Johnny Lee is going to be at Jazz Fest. He told us a couple of nights ago, and I want to get him on tomorrow. So Sons of Johnny Lee, don't forget, send an email to Creative Tony at the address.
Yeah.
And we'll get you on the show tomorrow because I want to get a review of everything you see tonight at the LA Forum. Creative Tony, without further delay, we're bleeding into bonus minutes now.
I know. Number 3, and then I got a couple bookmarks. And the bookmarks are sports related, but this number 3 in Tony's top 3 is always a wild card.
Yeah.
And this is only because I watched a couple movies recently, and it made me think, oh, this would be a good top 3 for Paulie. So, Paulie, I'll tell you the movies after I ask the question. Okay.
Okay.
Number 3. Who are you picking if you had to pick Robert De Niro or Al Pacino?
Oh, dude, what? What are you doing to me right now? That's like take Jagger or Richards. Go ahead, pick. Like, wait, what? Like that Pacino, De Niro, dude. These are the 2 greatest Paisan actors probably in American history. To be totally
I know.
I actually you throw Marlon Brando in there, but I mean, of our time and our generation, like, I mean. Those are
maybe some Joe Pesci honorable mention too.
Without a doubt, especially in The Irishman. I thought Joe Pesci was amazing in The Irishman. But so your question is, who am I choosing, Pesci or De Niro?
Well, the reason why I asked this, Paulie, is because Awakenings, I just was checking out the other day with Robin Williams and Robert De Niro, and then also Meet the Parents. I was just skimming through late last night, and De Niro in Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers is just.
Money.
He's
money.
Incredible.
You smoke pot, Fokker? You a pothead? You a pothead, Fokker? Yeah.
I have nipples, Greg.
Could you milk me? Yeah, no, it goes on and on. It's beautiful.
It's gold. So
and by the way, don't sleep on Stiller up on the roof trying to cop a smoke, lighting the whole house on fire. I mean, Stiller is his work in that movie is underrated. I'm just saying, don't sleep on Ben Stiller. Well, so the question is, would I choose Robert De Niro or Al Pacino in what, like in a certain movie, or just like their whole body of work? Like what
if you were making a movie tomorrow?
Well, I mean, it would depend. Like now you're getting me. Like it would depend on the nature of the movie. What kind of movie are we talking about? Because see, that's the thing with Al Pacino. There's different Pacinos over the years. Like there's the early Pacino when he's super handsome and he's ultra cool, like Serpico, Godfather, and then there's like that. I'm dying over here. I'm dying. I'm that whole Pacino thing. But then he morphed into like the old man Pacino, where he's like, oh, we on this team, the show, we fight for that inch. We're going to fight for that inch. So there's like kind of different Pacinos. So it kind of depends on the kind of movie we're talking about. And then when it comes to De Niro, to answer your question, I'm probably going Bobby D, Robert De Niro, because he's the only guy that is so convincing. He like scares me. Like go watch him in Cape Fear.
Yes.
He's out of his fucking mind in that movie. I got news for you, bro.
Taxi Driver. What about Taxi Driver? Dude,
Travis Bickle for life. Okay. Travis Bickle for life. And then you got Robert De Niro in the Deer Hunter. You see this? This is this. This is something else. This is this. Like all that crazy De Niro stuff that I love so much. And then his work in Godfather 2, where he speaks almost exclusively Italian. In Godfather 2, and he won an Academy Award. I believe he's the only American actor to win a Best Actor role speaking a foreign language, and he spoke Italian in that movie and got the Best Actor Award. So I think I'm going Bobby D, but no slight against Al. I love Pacino. I love Al Pacino, but I think I got to go Bobby D on this one.
And the question was not meant as a slight to either, just for a point of reference. And also, I saw somebody in the comments. I can't scroll back right now, but it was about De Niro in Silver Linings Playbook, right? Do you remember that? Do you remember that flick? I mean,
with the remote controls and stuff. Yeah.
And the scenes of him and why am I blanking?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. Thank you.
Yeah.
The scenes of him back and forth with each other in the house, in that tiny little house in Philly, man. That is some heavy stuff, dude. Heavy stuff, man.
And I
Okay.
feel, and I would be remiss, by the way, Jeff Winkler shouting out, don't forget about De Niro in Copland. That's another good one. I used to have that on my soundboard at work.
You blew it.
You blew it. That whole bit. So yeah, and then of course there's Raging Bull. Jesus H. Christ.
Right.
That movie, it makes you so uncomfortable that you got to wonder, like, I'm like, is Robert De Niro really beating up Joe Pesci? He might be. He might be, like, really throwing hands. Like, that's how convincing he is. You start to wonder, like, where the line is. And so, yeah, I got to say, you got it, Naomi. You blew it. So I'm going Bobby D, but with tons of respect to Pacino. How about you, Tony? Same question.
Yeah, Bobby D. I mean, for me, it's what takes it over the edge for Bobby D is the comedic factor. Like how De Niro's comedic skills.
You know what? That's a good call.
Parents, you know,
that's a good call.
He can be really funny when he wants to be, and Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers. He's just his work in those movies is incredible.
Yeah, I would say that his comedy work in Midnight Run with Charles Grodin is freaking top of the line, man.
Great call.
And at the same time, Tony, that's a really good call you made. And I don't know that Pacino has comedy chops. Like, I don't even know.
I don't know if he does either.
Has he, like, am I forgetting? Has he ever done a comedy? I can't think of any.
Not that I can think of. But that's what took it over the top.
Yeah, it's a good call. And the other thing about Al Pacino too is the guy in real life. He's tiny, bro. He's like 4'6" or something. He's like,
well, De Niro's and De Niro's pretty tiny too. That's
De Niro. Yeah, you know, he ain't no Manute Bol. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, yeah, no.
Pesci too. Pesci also. That's what I love. The scenes in The Irishman, dude, of Pesci and De Niro, man, are incredible.
I agree.
When they're eating the bread and drinking the wine in prison.
Oh, dude, and you called it. It's the most obvious symbolism of all time, and I didn't put it together. And I was talking to Tony about that movie at work, and he's like, "Yeah, it's like they're having communion." I was like, "Dude, how did I not get that?" Yeah, that was a total communion thing with the bread and the wine, dunking the wine and the dunking the bread and the wine, dude. Which I do recommend you try at home. By the way, it's a nice way to soften the bread.
It's the old school Catholic in me, dude. Paulie, I'm gonna shift the show to Bookmarks. We're gonna go there right now. It's bonus time. We're gonna go Bookmarks now. You down with that?
Bonus minutes continue. It's Bookmarks time. Let's hit it, T. Yeah.
It's time.
Sure, go ahead, laugh if you want to.
For Bookmarks.
Maybe that's how you get your kicks. You and your good time buddies.
PMP style.
Well, I got a flash for you, Joy Boy. Party time is over.
Yeah, I love seeing Bookman right in the middle. Well done. Good.
It's time.
Sure, go ahead, laugh if you want to.
For Bookmarks.
Maybe that's how you get your kicks. You and your good time buddies.
PMP style.
Well, I got a flash for you, Joy Boy. Party time is over.
Hey, man, I'm all about good time buddies. You know what I mean? I'm all about my good time buddies. One of my favorite Bill Graham Grateful Dead introductions of all time, because back in the old days, Bill Graham used to introduce the bands when they would come on stage, and this is one of my favorites. It goes, "Ladies and gentlemen," I think the show is at the Greek Theater. I think 1972 Greek Theater. Winks and Rags. I know you guys know this because that tape used to be in circulation when we were hanging out. Bill Graham comes out and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, good time music from good time people, the Grateful Dead." Grateful Dead, yeah. So Bookman's talking about good time buddies, and Bill Graham was talking about good time people and good time music. So I'm all in. Where are we going with Bookmarks, Steve?
Dude, for me, it's the Joy Boy, dude. Like when he says Joy Boy,
that's right, Joy Boy. I like the image too.
Joy Boy.
I like how you got Bookman pointing in the visual.
Well, that's all Dom. That's all Dom Peralta. I can't thank Dom enough for that. He made that. So
thank you, Dom. For real, thank you, Dom. Man.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking for this clip. I gotta find this Bill Burr clip because it's worth.
Yeah,
it's
you were talking
watching.
about this. I want to see this. I want to see.
Yeah, because it's Bill Burr talking with Rich Eisen, and and he's basically they're talking about the officiating and everything, and for some reason the clip has gone missing for a second, Paul. So I'm gonna need you to take over for a second while I find this thing for a second, okay?
Oh, I'll say this. Okay,
yeah,
you got it. I like Rich Eisen too. Like I've always been a good like cool with Eisen. We had him on our show a few times. He was always a good dude. I like him.
Who? Rich Eisen?
Yeah.
He seems like a genuinely nice person. You know, he really seems like there's no BS with him. Like there's no shtick. He just seems really genuine.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Good dude.
Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
Buddy.
Here we go.
All right.
Stand by, P. Stand by.
I'm right here. It's all good in the hood, man. No one's going nowhere. We got you.
Nice.
We got you.
So I'm going to set this back up again.
You, Bill Burr thinks that when Alan stepped into the line of scrimmage on a 4th down and short, and he's barely making it to the line of scrimmage, just a little past it. Maybe he's got the first down, maybe he doesn't.
And maybe one guy says it is a first down, and the other guy says it. You know which way it's going to go.
Somebody's sitting there going, "Here's my to get that massage." Like, is that what you're saying? Because again, that's. I
just think, where is the money? Like, come on, man. They got all the stars. They got Taylor Swift. I mean, that's going to be a lot. Like, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it an entertainment?
They're a sports league, but it is entertainment in this day and age.
If you're called an entertainment league,
yes,
and a game is proven to be fixed, when I've read, you cannot be tried because it's entertainment.
So you don't think the Chiefs are as good as they really are?
I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying that it's a business.
There it is. Right.
He's saying it without saying it. Yeah. He's like,
right.
Look where the money is. They got Taylor Swift, all the stuff we talked about, all the stuff we've been talking about. I actually don't disagree with anything Bill Burr just implied right there. I don't. I think, although the one thing I'm not like in lockstep with Tony on is the fact that the games are like scripted. I don't believe that, but I do believe that the refs, I don't know if they're instructed, but they certainly seem to feel like it's in their best interest and the best interest of the league to continue to advance the Kansas City Chiefs, even when they're committing highway robbery in broad daylight and they're taking calls away from teams and they're throwing flags on imaginary roughing the quarterback calls that never even occurred. I'll go back to that Texan game when they got that call twice, both 15-yard penalties, both extended drives. Both times the Chiefs scored. Now, again, that's the kind of setup thing that pisses me off. Now, is that scripted? I don't know. I think it'd be pretty hard to script a football. How do you get that many people in on executing like a script? You got 1 week. I don't know if I just don't know if it's possible. But enough people have their suspicions that it's just not good for the league when your customers are out here going, yeah, this whole thing is fixed. Like, if I'm the NFL, I'm having meetings and I'm saying, guys, we got a problem. We got to figure out how to like win the fans' trust back. Because right now I think that trust is a little shaky.
And it's not one of the things that happened earlier in that Bill Burr interview that we didn't play, but is that he says, and this is where I totally agree with Burr. He says it's not fixed, it's not scripted.
Yeah.
He just said it's massaged. And I thought that was perfectly put. Like all it takes. I think we had that. Remember that guy Rising Wolf, that viewer we had Rising Wolf. He was.
How can I forget, dude? The name Rising Wolf. I'll never forget that guy.
We need Rising Wolf back on the show, by the way.
And shout out Rising. And again, sorry, Tony. I am sorry I stepped on you. But Rising Wolf, and again, goes right alongside very nicely with Rising Force by Yngwie Malmsteen. Tony, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, we just got it here. Hold on. Rising Wolf is here. What's up, Rising Wolf?
Nice. Here, dude. I like that. Right here, dude. Yeah. Somebody with a double cheese sausage. Here, dude. Yeah.
But learning about Cuba, having some food. Anyways, so my point is that it's not fixed, it's massaged. And Rising Wolf said last week, all it takes is one side judge or one line judge can have an influence, like in those ball placements last weekend, right? So that's my point. Is that's what I'm saying. So
I have a comment to make, and it's got nothing to do with football on any level. But sorry, I just got to throw this out there because you said the word massage several times, and Bill Burr used the word massage. I got to throw this out there just for people at large in the Bay Area. The woman who cuts my hair, because I went and saw my my I don't want to call her a stylist, that's a little too fancy, but she's like my hair cutter. Is that the right word? I don't know. She's my barber, whatever. Anyway, I've been going to her. Her name is Thao, Thao. She's Vietnamese. She's awesome. Here's what she does. And the name of her shop, it's up in the Castro. It's on Market in Castro. She throws in the bonus massage with every haircut. Okay.
Nice.
So dude, she'll wash your hair and then she comes at you with the hot towels, like these lemon scented towels. The next thing you know, dude, she's working out my back and shoulder. I'm not kidding. Back and shoulder massage going on yesterday before our meeting, Tony. And then she basically just like shaved my entire head. I was like, yeah, she cut it close. And then bam, she took out the clippers. But Right Style Salon on Castro and Market, get over there. That's all I'm saying. Because Tao rules. She's a sweetheart. She cuts great hair, and she's also going to throw in the bonus massage. Do me a personal favor, Paulie. Make sure that Ravens kicker Justin Tucker doesn't go to any of these massage therapists, because I don't know if you saw the reports. Did you see the reports today where he? I did.
Allegedly supposedly a lot of misconduct with massage therapists to the
Tao's
point
not
where
involved. Yeah, no, Tao, my
Yeah.
girl's not involved with any kind of misconduct. Let's just make that clear. She's
Oh,
delivering.
I'm not saying she is. I'm
Yes,
saying let's
yes.
just keep Justin Tucker away from Tao. That's all
Well,
I'm saying.
while we're doing that, you might want to keep your guy Bobby Kraft away from the massage parlor too. You remember Robert Kraft, like taking detours, bro? By the way, I always wondered about like Robert Kraft. He's one of the richest, most powerful guys in the entire world. Why's he got to be like diverting flights and stuff to go to some massage parlor when he could be doing like anything he wants behind closed doors without anybody knowing about it? It was just kind of a rookie maneuver, I thought, by Kraft. It was so easily traceable and a horrible look, by the way. How do you explain that one to the missus?
Well, same with Justin Tucker. What are you doing with all these massage therapists? Allegedly. But what are you doing?
Who was the guy on the was it Eugene Robinson, the guy on the Falcons who was soliciting a prostitute the night before the Super Bowl? Like, these guys, bro, you got a game in 3 hours. Get off the street, man.
I want to say that Super Bowl was in New Orleans, if I remember correctly. I think it was in New Orleans. And bad move by Eugene. Too bad, Eugene. For those Grease heads out there that remember Grease, they remember Eugene Felsnick, I want to say.
Bro, you're coming at me with Felsnick. That's beyond my grasp. I'm very impressed. But respect.
We can do a whole show on Grease. We won't do the whole show on Grease, but we will maybe down the road. We'll do just an all movie show where it's just half of it is Fast Times, half of it is Grease, and we just dissect.
I don't know if people would believe me when I tell them this, but Tony and I one time literally took over an entire club in the Mission District called the Latin Social Club. Yeah. We were in there hanging out one night years ago, and one thing led to another. I think it was like somebody issued a challenge because we were talking to these girls, and they were like, "Oh, you guys aren't real Grease fans." And somehow Grease came up. We're like, "No, we freaking love Grease."
Yeah.
And these girls were like fronting. They're like, "No, you don't. You guys are." And I'm like, "Don't make me have to prove it." Then I started getting mad. I'm like, next thing you know, dude, we're singing Grease Lightning. We're doing the moves. And it could happen at any time on the show because Tony and I are pretty much like black belt competitors when it comes to Grease, for better or worse. So
for better or worse. For me, I have 3 sisters, and it was back in the day when we had one VHS tape with 3 movies on it.
Yeah.
And it was Revenge of the Nerds, Teen Wolf, and Grease were the 3 movies on that VHS tape.
All 3 are stellar, by the way. All 3. Yeah.
And I watched that tape over and over and over. So all 3 of those movies, I'm like you said, a black belt in those movies. So
and Wink's checking in with a hickey from Kaniki is like a Hallmark card. There's no question about that. That's
care enough to send the very best.
Totally. That's when you care. And then that's right before Rizzo throws the strawberry shake right in Kaniki's face, right in his grill.
Rizzo!
Yeah.
I want to talk to you now. Sorry.
I got me. Rizzo! I want to talk to you. Great
now.
We're racing for pinks, you punk. Ownership papers. All right, come on, man. Let's get back to the wheels back on. One more bookmark, and let's get out of here. Yeah.
We were speaking of kickers, right? And
Rizzo.
I'm not going to talk about Justin Tucker because that's just a dark road. We don't need to talk about Justin Tucker.
You laid me out, bro. You laid me out with that Kaniki. Now.
Oh man,
with the
Jeff
ice
Conway.
cream all over his. Rest in peace, Jeff Conway.
I know, man. Jeff Conway. God, he was great as a Kaniki. But I'm going to share. This is our guy, Larry Krueger, man. And I love Larry Krueger for posts like this.
Oh no, Krueger's a machine. What's he got here?
He says, "I don't care who it is. The 49ers should never draft a place kicker again in any round. Draft football players only. Hold workouts from May through July and find your place kicker in those workouts. Learn from your mistakes. No more Jake Moody's. Justin Tucker was undrafted. Adam Vinatieri went undrafted." And he's retweeting another tweet where it says one of the premier kickers in the class, Miami's Andres Borregales, met with a long list of teams, including the 49ers, and that set Krueger off. And he just said, I don't care who it is. And I couldn't agree with him more. Right? How many times are we like looking for kickers mid-season? And kickers are getting hurt a lot more nowadays. You realize that too?
I do. Well, first of all, the 49ers special teams were so atrocious last year. Their poor play got 2 kickers injured because kickers were out here trying to make tackles and make plays. So I first pointed an accusatory finger at the 49ers special teams. It was abysmal last year. It really was. Yeah. And it cost them games. It was their special team play was so effing bad that it actually cost them a couple of losses in the first half of their schedule. Now, I wonder, like, and I agree with you, by the way, Tony and Kruger, dude, don't draft kickers. Cut the shit with
Right.
that. John
Right.
Lynch drafted, and like, you know, it's not a wise move to waste a draft pick with a kicker, regardless of how good he is. And I wondered this a lot last year, like, where the F is Robbie Gould? Because Robbie Gould was like money in the bank, and now he came in with his own holdout nonsense, which offended me just as a football fan. I'm like, a kicker is holding out? Are you kidding me? Dude, kickers shouldn't hold out. But Robbie Gould is out there somewhere, and I don't think anybody picked him up last year. I guess maybe he's officially retired. But
dude, look at Rising Wolf, by the way. Special K, Seabass. Remember the Polish cannon, Sebastian Janikowski.
Am I allowed to riff without upsetting Raider Nation? I don't know if I'm going to like upset everybody, but I feel like I got to riff because Seabass was great. Sebastian Janikowski was a great kicker when he wasn't selling X out of the trunk of his car. Oh, what? I'm the bad guy. I didn't tell him to start selling X out of the trunk of his car. Do you remember that when he got busted? You think they got him outside like they got him outside like holy cow or something. Like
no. I was gonna say, not only do I remember, but I remember the name of the club, dude. It was Snowdrift. Snowdrift was the name of the club where he got busted.
My bad.
He got popped with the X. Right
Again.
there.
These are the questions I don't understand. Eugene Robinson trying to get a hooker 3 hours before kickoff. Seabass, dude, you're a highly paid NFL kicker. There's no need for you to be selling X. What are you doing, kid?
Right, dude.
I just don't get these guys sometimes. Like if I was a pro football player making that kind of paycheck, dude, you wouldn't even see me. You'd never see me unless I was playing. I'd be living a very plush life, and I certainly wouldn't be selling X out of the trunk of my car. But I got
no.
That was just typical Raider behavior back then. Do you remember the day John Gruden called us, bro, right after he got out of the drunk tank? Do you remember that? Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes,
Tony and I Tony, final note today, final Raider revelation. And I like Gruden. We had a nice relationship with him, but that time he got popped. They popped him for a DUI. And we had a show with them, dude. Like we walked into work and the AP wire had just spit out the story. It was like 5 a.m. It said Oakland Raider head coach has been arrested for suspicion of DUI. And then he called, and Tony, didn't you ask him like, hey, coach, we saw the story. What are you cool? Like, what do you want us to talk about or not talk about? And Gruden was like, you guys can ask me anything you want. So he was like, let's get into it.
He was great.
He was.
And I will say that's when he revealed to us that he loves Bachman Turner Overdrive and listens to, remember that? And he listened to BTO on the way to the Oakland Coliseum. That was his jam every morning, listening to BTO. It was Gruden revealed a lot of stuff to us, man. It was really fun. And by the way, this was requested, so I'm just going to play it.
Okay. It's fine, bro. Now I'm
requested. It was requested.
Again.
Hold on.
Oh my God. Iron Mike's in the house. Iron Mike. Hey,
there's the Tyson laugh. And since we were talking about Bobby De Niro, stand by.
That's Robert De Niro watching the movie, that John Ritter flick. I forget what it's called, but in Cape Fear, smoking a huge cigar, dude. Smoking a huge cigar in the movie theater, just filling the place with smoke and laughing like a maniac. Hence, going back in time as to why I would take De Niro. It's moments like that.
And here's one more time.
Okay.
There's the Keith Richards laugh. That's the legendary laugh. The whole soundbite, though, that people should know is Keith Richards is saying, they burst into your dressing room and say, "Where's the dope?" And then then this happens.
It still is. It's timeless, man. That thing is freaking timeless. Well, Creative Tony, let's sound the outro music. I want to let everybody get back to their day, but thank you so much for stopping by today. Creative Tony.
Yes. Paulie, can we dismiss the class real quick?
I'd like to. If everybody grabs their pens, pencils, and notebooks, we'll see you in class tomorrow. But until then, class dismissed. Yeah, dude. Nice transition. DJ Creative Tony is on the wheels of steel right now. That was nice. Class dismissed. Sit down, Waldo. By the way, shout out David Lee Roth driving the school bus at the beginning of the movie with his mirrored shades on.
Arguably the greatest music video ever made. Arguably.
It's a good one. So is Panama. When they arrest David Lee, he's got the towel on. He's handcuffed. He's wearing the cowboy boots. Great moment in rock and roll history, and it's all captured. All those Van Halen videos, dude, during the David Lee era were money.
How about did David Lee Roth invent the ass tassel? the tassel that hangs over the ass. Did he I've never seen anybody else rock that look except for David Lee. Where
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna place a guess here and guess that probably came out of like the cast. I'm dead serious. I think like that whole leather thing kind of was like ground zero was the Castro in the 70s, man. Like that was like
I don't doubt it. I don't
gay
doubt
capital.
it. But his rocking with the tassel on the back,
incredible,
the backside,
incredible.
And then, I don't know who put their
ass cheeks flying, dude. He had the chaps on with no pants underneath, just two cheeks flying, broad daylight. Yeah,
dude. Two artists that love putting their ass in the camera. David Lee Roth in the videos, and then when I saw Prince in San Jose, he put his ass on the jumbotron. I mean, it wasn't naked; it was covered in tight pants, but he enjoyed just sticking his ass into the jumbotron camera, and the place went bonkers every time he did it. You know?
Well, tomorrow Tony and I are going to explore other great moments where male ass is involved. We'll delve into that, and we'll have that conversation. And Creative Tony, I'm going to demand that you do some homework tonight and produce a picture of Diamond David Lee Roth wearing the chaps, the assless chaps, tomorrow on the show. It'll fit in perfectly on High Noon, because that kid used to go on stage like that, bro. We do 2 hours like that in chaps with no shirt on. Amazing if you can pull it off. Creative Tony, thank you for your efforts. Everybody on the text line, thank you guys so much. You mean everything to us. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow. And come strong tomorrow, because it's going to be a High Noon installment. And we're going to get you one day closer to the Super Bowl. A lot of hijinks with Particle Pick of the Week, Creative Tony's musical assignment. It's all happening. Everybody enjoy your thank you, Creative Tony. There he is. Look at him. You know the kind of balls it takes to walk out there like that? I wouldn't do that. Would you? Dude, would you walk on stage like that, Creative Tony? Tell me the truth.
Maybe.
Wow.
I've done, maybe.
First thing I'd have to do is go to the gym for like 2 months straight and like get a physique that's worth presenting like that. But you can see the commitment to performance right there. Two cheeks blazing, no F's given, none.
Can I get this closer? Let me get that closer. There we go. There we go.
And you got and the crowd's eating it up, dude. The crowd's going nuts. Look at the crowd. And the 80s were a hell of a decade. You had to be there, man. You really did. You had to freaking be there. Other great ass displayers on their way out the door. I guess you got to shout out Nicki Minaj, right? She's like the new like ass queen or whatever the title is. I don't know. But she writes songs about her ass, like her ass is in like every video she does. Here it is. Here's my booty. So anyway, shout out Nicki Minaj. Yeah, who are we forgetting? Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Dude, Mike Reno on the cover of Loverboy's album. Come on, with the red leather pants.
By the way, I think that he's crossing the fingers too, whatever that means. He's got his fingers crossed on the red leather pants. That's a record I own, by the way. I don't know why, but I do. I have a copy of that in the house somewhere. Mike Reno's ass is in my house. And then finally, Sir Mix-a-Lot. If we don't shout out Sir Mix-a-Lot, maybe the best lyric in rap history is as follows. He goes, "Well, Cosmo says you're fat, but I ain't down with that."
Yeah.
That's my favorite lyric of all time. Cosmo says you're fat. I ain't down with that. Creative Tony, what do you got on the way out the door?
Tomorrow, High Noon. And I've seen a couple comments. Nathan was on the comment line too, asking about show times. And we're just trying to find what works best for people, and also trying to sprinkle the particles around and just see what sticks, right? So tomorrow, High Noon. Monday, we'll be back at 11 a.m. But tomorrow, High Noon. I hope to see all of you there tomorrow morning, and all that jazz. Take it, Paulie.
Thank you, Tony. Well said, everybody. And thanks again for everybody stopping by. We love to see you. We're looking forward to tomorrow. Have a good evening. Everybody be safe. Everybody do the right thing. And until then, peace, y'all.